Johnson in Terry Falls. Morgan's an honor roll student at Iowa High School. She's in the 12th grade. She was a student council for 2 years. She also enjoyed and was on the yearbook staff for 1 year. She enjoys reading, being with friends, family, and Morgan.
From the time I was a small child, I was taught by my parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents to be proud to be an American. I can recall going to sporting events and watching them each stand at attention and place their hands over their heart when the flag was presented, each proudly singing the Star-Spangled Banner. They were role models for me. I have many family members who have proudly served in the military, fighting for liberty and freedom, for the right to be here today. Let me tell you about a few of those family members. My great-aunt Pat is a genealogist whose research led her to records about my great-grandfather, 6 times removed, Patrick Hayes. Patrick was a judge and served in the Revolutionary War. On his tombstone is a plaque placed there by the Daughters of the American Revolution. It states, "Patrick Hayes fought for liberty and died its sincere friend." I have ancestors who fought in the Civil War on both sides. One of my great-great-great-grandfathers, Thomas Hardy, was captured by the Yankees and imprisoned in Illinois. His journals tell of the horrors he experienced and how he longed to be home with his family. He was imprisoned for 2 years before he was released at the end of the war and was allowed to return home. My great-great-grandfather, Floyd Hayes, and his brother Mac joined the Army together prior to World War I. Floyd was a wagoneer who fought bravely in France. He returned home with shrapnel wounds that bothered him the rest of his life. My great-grandfather, Clyde Nugent, whom I knew as Papaw, joined the Army Air Corps just before World War II broke out. He married my grandmother, and had a daughter, and then Papaw was shipped out to France, where he was a gunner on a B-27. His daughter was 4 months old when he left. She was 4 years old when he returned home and was a stranger to her. He left his family to fight for our country's freedom. My great-uncle, Bremen Baker, served 2 one-year terms in Vietnam. He too left his wife and daughter to fight a war that many believed was not our country's fight. However, he was trying to provide freedom for a country that did not want to become communist. In the last 5 years of Uncle Bree's service to our country, he was an instructor for the junior ROTC. In that 5-year period, he helped many students receive hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarships. Those students became active members of the U.S. Army. Uncle Bree retired from the United States Army as a lieutenant colonel. My father was in the Navy and was stationed on the aircraft carrier, the USS Constellation. He was a machinist mate. One particular day, while performing his daily duties on the ship, he lost the first knuckle of his right thumb in an accident. In addition, due to the nature of his job aboard the ship, he suffered severe hearing loss. Even though these things happened that dramatically affected his life, he remains patriotic and continues to love his country. 3 years ago, my oldest brother Blake graduated from high school and joined the United States Air Force. He is an integrated avionics technician with the Special Operations Unit at Hurlburt Field in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. He is assigned to the MC-130 Talon aircraft. This past November, my second brother Tyler joined the United States Army. He has just completed his boot camp training and is now in tech school. He will become a combat engineer and will probably be sent to Afghanistan when he completes his schooling. Because of the military heritage I have and because of the love for my country my family has instilled in me, I too will follow in many of their footsteps, as I have signed a letter of commitment to the United States Air Force and will leave for basic military training this coming fall. I am an honor student who is eligible for TOPS and would receive scholarships to pay for my college education. However, I feel the need to serve my country. I feel it is not only my duty, but an honor to serve. Thomas Jefferson said, quote, "My God, how little do my countrymen know what precious blessings they are in possession of, and which no other people on earth enjoy." Close quote. I have been blessed greatly to be born into a family who loves their country and the freedom our forefathers and men and women of our armed forces have fought for and continue to fight to preserve. Many have given Many have given the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. Too many people today take for granted all the inalienable rights that have been established by our Constitution. Too many of our elected officials have lost touch with the rights and ideals our forefathers fought so valiantly to establish. Today, too many of our congressmen and women do not follow President John F. Kennedy's admonition. Quote, "Think not what your country can do for you, think what you can do for your country." Close quote. Instead, too many elected officials think only of what they can do for themselves. They no longer think about what is best for our country and its people. Mark Twain said, quote, "Patriotism is supporting your country all the time and your government when it deserves it." Close quote. Our government should be respected. However, our elected officials must earn our respect, and when they become corrupt, they certainly do not deserve our respect. When they try to change our government to no longer represent what our founding fathers established, they do not deserve our respect. Our government is going through some trying times now. Some are trying to change it from a republic to a socialist. Our government and its citizens deserve elected officials who will follow the Constitution. Now is the time for each of us to come to the aid of our country. We must stand up for our rights. We must not re-elect those officials who do not put our country and the people of this great nation first. We must remain faithful and true to the values, morals, and principles upon which this great country was founded. President George W. Bush said, quote, "Americans are a free people who know that freedom is the right of every person and the future of every nation. That the liberty we prize is not America's gift to the world, it is God's gift to humanity." Close quote. May we be mindful of the great blessings we have by being citizens of this great nation. One nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. We are Americans. Thank you.